Hey, you're listening to the Intentional Mind podcast, and I'm your host, Ange Barnard. On this episode, we are talking about how to create ideal life and career opportunities for yourself so you can #live your best life and really enjoy what you do every day and feel like it's in alignment with who you want to be in this world. So the reason why I want to talk about this is because I just had a conversation with one of my amazing clients early in the morning, and we were talking about work stuff. And you know how sometimes we can find ourselves in positions where it's just not fun, the work that we're doing, or we're living life in a way that you're like, this isn't really fun anymore. Like, this is just not in alignment with me. You get those feelings. We were talking about that, and I was like, if it's not fun, then what is the freaking point? What is the point? And someone may argue back with me and say, well, because I need to bring money, because of yada, yada. Like, okay, but guess what? We can find opportunities that are really fun. We can get paid to do work that we love. Right? That's in our power to design our life very intentionally. We can do that. So why would we just give up and settle and stay in something that is just not a good fit for us? And we know that it isn't. Like, why wouldn't we do whatever it took for us to enjoy our life? Like, truly enjoy our life. Because I don't know about you, but I know that no amount of money is worth me being miserable. So like, sometimes I hear people be hesitant about investing in something that can improve their life because they're like, oh, the money. And I'm just thinking like, okay, if you're not getting the results that you want, that money, like, it ain't worth it. Invest in it to design the life that you want. Everybody that you admire invests in themselves. That's just a part of it. And I think it's like also when you do this, you send that signal out there that you're taking it very seriously. Like when you actually make that commitment, it's like letting God know, like, I'm here for this. I'm willing to give my resources to this dream in honor of this dream. Like, I'm going to sow a seed here. I'm going to trust. And that's the kind of energy that we need to create these ideal life and career opportunities for ourselves. So, another reason why I wanted to talk about this episode, or the whole creating ideal life and career opportunities, is because I've had a lot of clients lately tell me that they want me to tell them more stories about how other people have been able to create ideal life and career opportunities for themselves. Like, they want to know more about that so that they can stay encouraged and motivated through the process of intentionally designing their life. Because let's be real, all your stuff will come up as you're starting to shift your identity and starting to become a different kind of person, live life in a very different way, be the person that enjoys what they do every day. Your stuff is going to show up. And when I say stuff, what I mean by that is the fears, the stories that hold you back, all the childhood stuff, all the things, guys, it's showing up. So this is why it's really helpful to have someone else help you through this process and work through that crap that holds us back. So I was sharing a story with her this morning about just so her brain had evidence that she too could design the life that she wanted. She could create a really sweet opportunity for herself. And we call this over at Happen to Your Career, which is where I coach through unicorn opportunities. So basically, unicorn opportunities, this is my personal definition of it, is basically an opportunity that is your ideal opportunity that's in alignment with who you want to be. And it may show up in a very unconventional way. It may be an opportunity that someone may be shocked that you somehow were able to get that opportunity and make that happen for yourself. Like a unicorn opportunity. So I shared a story, and I've shared this on the podcast before, but I want to share it again for those that haven't heard this story about something recent that has happened. So my husband, I feel like, created a unicorn opportunity for himself. And the rational mind would have never thought this could have came to be. So let me explain the story. So Ian and I often talk about what we want for our lives. And sometimes, I'm going to say most of the time, after we talk about these things, there's a voice that shows up that says, no, that ain't gonna happen for you. Like, how would that happen? Right? But we still dream big and we still talk about it and we give energy to it through conversation. We make our desires known to God. That's what I would say. And stuff happens in weird ways that I could never have predicted. And I have a gazillion stories I could share with you guys about this kind of stuff. So we used to talk about a lot how we would say, wouldn't it be cool? This is how I like to start off my dreaming. Wouldn't it be cool if, fill in the blank. Wouldn't it be cool, he said, if I could have an opportunity where I get to live by family, which is in Indiana, Michigan area. That's where both of our family is from. So I could have an opportunity where I could live by them and I could do work there, but I could also work at, in Beaufort County in South Carolina, which we also love. Wouldn't it be so cool if I could do both, And then the rational mind pops up and is like, okay, like, how's that going to work? Because why on earth, so my husband's a dentist, why on earth would someone hire you to do work in South Carolina and in Indiana? Like, that's pretty far away from each other. Wouldn't you just find another dentist in the other area that could do the thing? Like, this is what the rational mind does. It starts to be like, no, that ain't going to happen because this. And this stops people from dreaming, right? So he still kept dreaming, kept talking about it. And we're like, yeah, that would be so cool, right? We're dreaming about it, putting the energy out there. Then he goes and he does some interviews in Indiana because we were looking to make that move from South Carolina. And he had one more interview left. And he was like, Ange, I don't really want to go. And I was like, because he's like, I'm not interested in it at all. It's only a part-time role anyways. I want full-time, yada, yada. And I've heard this from clients a lot where they're like, I don't really want to pursue it because I don't think they have what I want. And this, guys, you don't want to show up with that kind of energy because that energy is a lack. Like, this is like, why this would be wasting my time. It's that kind of energy. But if you show up with a curious energy, like, and like everything is happening for you. Maybe this conversation may benefit you. Maybe you make a new friend. Maybe you're just curious to see what's out there. That kind of energy, right? So I shifted his energy and I said to him, I was like, well, honey, like, what else could you get out of it? You could learn what people are offering. You could meet this guy. You can see what his office is like, right? You can make a new friend. Like, there's so much opportunity here. So he's like, okay, whatever, let's go. So we went, and this guy had said, after Ian told him that he didn't have, that he wanted a full-time role. And this guy was like, yeah, I don't have a full-time role, but I do know somebody that actually you might be interested in talking to. He has lots of opportunities. And so anyways, he's like, he has opportunities in South Carolina. And we were like, what? Because we were in Indiana. So it kind of perked our ears. We're like, huh? What do you mean South Carolina? He's like, yeah, he owns practices in Indiana and South Carolina. And he's like, I think it's like Beaufort County that he's in. And we were like, wait, what? So Ian was very curious to talk to this guy. So he talked to this guy. Turns out the guy wanted him to work in this other county that we were looking at in Indiana, where Ian would have a really awesome mentorship opportunity, where the guy that would be mentoring him was a very skilled surgeon and just like similar values, all the things. And that was another thing that Ian used to always talk about wanting. He was like, wouldn't it be so cool if I had like just a really awesome mentor in my life that was really skilled in surgery? That would be so cool. But I don't know how I'd find one of those, yada, yada. And bam, this comes into the mix. And then Ian brought up the whole Beaufort thing. And the guy was like, oh, I would love it if you could come to the Beaufort practice and do our surgeries and things like that. Right? So maybe you could do that some of the time. We could fly you out. You could have a long weekend with your family in the Beaufort area. And then you could go back. And Ian's like, yeah, because we would love to get another place there. Okay. So the whole point here. So Ian ended up getting on this role. And this role allowed him to hike the Appalachian Trail, to take months and months off. It takes minimum like 6 months. He's actually going to be off of work, I think 8 months or something like that. Anyways, so that dream he could make a reality. They're waiting for him to come in. We just bought a home in the Indiana area. So the rational mind, even the dream around hiking the Appalachian Trail, the rational mind would have been like, how's that going to work? Like, how are people going to let you take that time off? Blah, 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 blah. Right? But the reason why I'm sharing this story is I want you to know that You're very powerful. You can intentionally design your life, but it starts with what? It starts with you getting clear on what it is you want and allowing yourself to dream and letting go of how it's going to show up. That's God's work, or whatever you want to call it. It's the work of something that has a way more power than you. Like, it ain't all on you. You intentionally design your life. It's not all up to you. Sometimes we stress ourselves out so much because we think that it's all up to us. But I want to say the thing that is up to you is your vision. You got to get clear on your vision and what it is you want so that you can ask for it. So you can put it out there. And then, so we're going to back this up. I want to look at strategy. I'm very strategic in how I do things. So I like to look at the patterns. So I was looking back at like how in my life I've been able to create some really cool, ideal life and career opportunities. And I've been able to help other people do the same. And there's a pattern that's there that I've seen. There's a recipe to doing that. So what is it? The first one is you get clear in your vision. You allow yourself to dream. You watch those stories show up about how that ain't going to be possible for you. And you're like, okay, I see you. Dismiss, disregard. And I'm going to keep dreaming anyways, right? So you keep talking about it. You direct energy towards it. Then the next thing that you do is you let it go. You let it go. You ever see, like, I drove the other day past this church and they had a big sign up. It said, let go, let God. Maybe you've seen that. And that reminds me of this phase of it, is that you are intentional. Like, you're making it clear what it is you want. It's almost like you're praying for it. It's like, I'm going to put this on, or I'm putting it on your wish list. Think of like Santa Claus, like Santa's wondering what you want for Christmas. You put it out there, but Santa's going to deliver it in the way that he wants to. It's kind of like that. So you're intentional, but you're unattached to it. When you start getting attached to it, and you're like, it has to look this certain way, it needs to be this certain role, that kind of energy is energy that pushes things away from you. I really believe that, and I've seen the ones that I've worked with, my clients, even myself, like examples in my own life, where I've been able to keep that energy higher, coming from a curious place. Like, I make my desires known, but I still show up like curious, like still trying to feel my best every day, working on other things, letting it go, trusting, keeping the faith. Like, this is the hard stuff. This is why it's so helpful to work with someone else through this process. Keep that energy high. If you can do that, things start to show up for you. This is why I've seen with my clients where they can go through phases of no activity, like nothing, job opportunities, nothing showing up. And then all of a sudden they do an energy shift. And then bam, 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 bam. So much opportunity showing up. So it's interesting how that happens. And it's stuff that I don't really know how to explain. But I can tell you I see that pattern often. So letting it go, focusing on this concept that you're intentional, but you're unattached. You're open to it showing up in ways that you didn't expect, but you are intentional about being what it is that you want. Because remember, in that story I just told you, Ian said the things he wanted. Like, he put it out there, he talked about it, and it showed up in a way that he was not expecting it to, but it showed up. And what are the odds of that? Like, someone on the outside could be like, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's like, well, the word itself, coincidence, means to coincide. So like two edges, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, come together. So there's even purpose behind that. They align together. And what are the odds, though, that this opportunity that was presented to him had opportunities from two completely different states in two specific counties he was looking at, and that were open to what he wanted to do, which was really an unconventional thing to ask for. Like, this is some God stuff, right? Over here. Like, can we just agree on that? And it started, though, like, how did this come to be? If you look back at it, he showed up with curious energy. So instead of saying, like, no, I'm not going to talk to that guy who only had a part-time role available, maybe he went there initially. He was like, oh, I don't know, Ange. And then I coach him around it. We shift the energy. It's like, let's just show up curious. Let's just have fun. Let's just go meet someone. Like, that kind of energy. And then what happens as a result of that? Okay, so that's the point I'm trying to make here. is the energy through this whole process is so important. And it's freaking hard sometimes to stay inspired and motivated through all of this stuff. That's why it's so helpful to have someone work through this stuff with you, you know? So the other thing that gets hard is the letting it go aspect of the surrender part of it, where you're not attached to what it looks like. So with that, like, how do you keep your mind right through that to surrender and trust the process? What are my tips for you? My tips for you is to keep giving your brain evidence of how it's possible. Like, that's really important. You know, just like, you know, my clients asking for those stories because it helps keep their energy higher. It helps them believe for more. And we need us to be in that state to know that it's possible. Look back in your life, other things that have happened to you. The best things in your life that have been given to you, people that you've met, all the things, they didn't come in ways that you predicted, did they? No, they didn't. And those were some of the best things in your life. The way that they showed up, it was different than what you thought. And that's how it is through this process. Is like, there's this part where we make our vision known. We talk about that. And then it shows up in ways better than what we even thought it would. I really believe that because there's so much evidence of that in my life. I've seen it with so many of my different clients over the past decade. And it really comes back to that whole energy part. Okay, so the next thing is let me just tell you, I guess, another story. So, you know, now that I'm working with Happen to Your Career, which is a phenomenal organization where we help people intentionally design their lives and their careers. We do it in ways that's not your typical boring career stuff, transition. We're thinking of your life as a whole. We want you to live in alignment with your strengths and your values. So if you want coaching and you need help with that in that way, definitely go over to the site, happentoyourcareer.com, and talk to Sydney over there and then see if it's going to be a good fit for you. And if you want to coach with me, holla, I'm here for you. So anyways, moving forward from that, I'm just so excited because there's so many cool people that I've been able to meet lately that are like committed to living their best life. You know, there's people that are interested in it. Sounds like a good idea, but committed takes your investment of your resources, your time, all the things. A lot of people are interested in things. They're interested in losing weight, getting healthy, but committed to it, that's a different thing, right? So it's really cool to be able to work with people that are committed to living their best life, as I would say. So the story I want to give is that, you know, at the beginning of this year, I had my vision board. You know, I teach Clarify Your Vision every year where you get clear on your vision for your life. And one of the things I really wanted was to be a part of a team. I felt like it was really lonely in my entrepreneurial journey. Like, I wanted people who got me, and like, community is very important to me. It's a huge value of mine. And I was just feeling lonely, and I was sick of doing all of like the tech stuff. If you guys know, like, if you followed me, you know my tech can be a hot mess at times. Like right now, somehow my website got wiped out and my email's all messed up. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, people. But like, it's just not, I know I could be better at this with the whole tech thing, but I just don't want to. I want to direct my energy towards really, truly helping people. So anyways, I thought about like having, you know, maybe hiring people and working with a team. And I just kept saying, like, this is what I really want. The end goal is to be a part of a team that really gets me. That's what I am putting out there. So I didn't know what that was going to look like. Initially, my mind thought it looked like me hiring people. But what showed up for me was the amazing Happen to Your Career team. And that's why I started working with them. It didn't show up in a way that I had expected. And actually, what had happened was I was in my other role and feeling really defeated by it. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I could feel like it was out of alignment with me. It wasn't in alignment with the vision that I had for my life. And I was like, okay, you know how you get those feelings? Like, you're like, I need to make a change. But then your fear shows up. And for me, that was like, well, crap, this is a big source of my income. Like, then what am I going to do? And if I go coach full-time on my own, it's like I'm still missing a team. I like this other role because I had my team that I was working with. All the things, like, I had to like go through this in my mind, just as I do with my clients, like, and figure out what is it that you're really missing? What is it that you really want? Right. And I started getting that clarity. And then the opportunity showed up for me in a way that I didn't expect. I was hiking with Ian when I saw the stuff, and I was doing my application stuff from the Appalachian Trail and the shelters, trying to get Wi-Fi and all the things. Right. And it worked out. And I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful that it's another story that I can share with you guys. Like the dream team, like it's better than what I even thought. The old me would have thought that it didn't even exist. And that's like the things we want to help people with, is create these kinds of opportunities for yourself in your life. But it's so hard to do it on your own because of your crap that shows up and the energy stuff, like through the process, because there's ups and downs and it's not always super easy. But it's so helpful when you have someone that can be there with you and support you through it, And the process I shared with you guys around, getting clear on the vision and then practicing the whole concept of being intentional but unattached, letting it go, and then you focusing on your energy. You got clear on the vision, now let's just focus on your energy, keeping that higher, coming from a curious place, trying to find the people that really align with the vision that you have that can help you be that person. That's a big part of it. Keeping your mind right, filled with stories that this may be possible for you. All of that stuff. Well, that process can be applied to anything that you want to create in your life. Like you want to create other ideal opportunities related to health, relationships, finance, all the things, all the areas. The same process still applies. Get clear on what it is that you want. It's not always easy to get clear. In fact, I think that sometimes can be one of the hardest parts of it, is like really getting clear on that vision. But when you have someone walking you through it, coaching you through it, it's so helpful. And then look at ways that you can keep that energy high. What else is involved? Energy is not something that's just like, just stay positive about the situation and believe for it and like just keep your mind right. No, like what about your health? What about your relationships? What about all the other things that are happening in your life that's affecting your energy? What about the fact that you're eating this certain way or you're not sleeping enough? Like we need to make sure that that stuff is good because we got to keep your energy high. So when the opportunities come your way, you're showing up awesomely. And people are like, yeah, like this is a good match for you, because you're going to need people to help you get to where you want to be. I always talk about this on the show. And a lot of that has to do with not just specific strategies to get people to like you. I just did this episode about that. But your energy. Is your energy likable? Is your energy in alignment with what it is that you want? For a lot of people, it's not. And I think that's the thing that holds people back the most. And it prevents them from creating these ideal opportunities for them in their life. And it's something that a lot of people don't talk about because they don't know how to teach on it. And also they don't know how to teach about it without freaking people out and thinking that it's like weird and woo-woo stuff. But like this is science. Everything has energy. So do we. And at certain kinds of frequencies are in alignment with the things that we want. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency. So how do we get in alignment with the things that we desire? A big part of it is not showing up from a lack mentality of not having the thing. When you act like you trust and you believe that things are working out for you and it's coming your way, just like you ordered a thing on Amazon and you know it's coming soon, you don't worry about that thing arriving. You know it's coming. And if we can get your energy to that state where it's like you're clear in your vision, and then we just trust that things are flowing in. Easier said than done. I know. But if we can keep that higher, it's really cool what you can create in your life. And you can be an example of what's possible. And I love that for you. I want that for you to be one of those ones that is the unicorn, I don't want to be like the only unicorn running around on the mountaintops. My husband, no, come on, other unicorns, come see us. Run with us, shine bright, show other people that this stuff is possible. That's what we want. All right, I'm recording this in my nephew's room, holding this mic. The background noise is probably not the best, but regardless, I'm here for you. And if you have any questions about coaching or anything like that, please feel free to email me. Just email me to my straight up Gmail. It's angembarnard@gmail.com. And I can also connect you with Happen to Career, my team, and we can help you out maybe in that way of intentionally designing your life for real, because you're committed to it. Use these practices though, in any other way that you can. Get that vision. I'll say it 25,000 times. Love you so much. I hope you have the best day, and I'll talk to you soon. Also, leave a review if you haven't done so. All right, bye.